And I was 16 at school doing my exams, playing rugby, you know, just legit. Yeah, I fought a 24-year-old man, 6'4", knocked him out cold in 9 seconds, and then I was like, I want to do this for a living. Been in combat sports now 20 years. I'm talking from legit, like 5, 6, 7 years old. My last fight, I got robbed 100%. I completely ruptured my bicep, and then in the third round, completely ruptured it from both ends. So like, I literally had no left hand. And then I actually scored the draw with one arm.
Yeah. You were undefeated until that last fight.
Bro, I won that fight. And obviously they swayed it over to him, but he didn't even need the 6th round, bro. You're gonna fight me again, like, I'm gonna come 100% guns blazing, and I'm gonna take that fight. That's the example that a man should put to another man. It's the way I was raised, and it's the way I will raise my children.
You don't overcome something in your life, you got nothing to look back on.
I've pushed the limits many times, and I know full well what I'm capable of.
Jake Bostwick, thanks so much for being on the podcast.
Appreciate you for having me, sir.
Absolutely. Listen, excited to talk to you, dig into your story. Yeah. As people look at you, it's like, no, you're not intimidating at all, right? Tattooed from head to toe.
I'm a big gentle giant, son.
Right?
Well, I'm not even that big, but I'm a gentle giant.
I was gonna say you're pretty strong though, bare-knuckle fighter.
Yep.
Serious stuff. We'll get into all that, but let's talk about your childhood. You grew up in London.
Yep.
And you got into fighting really early. Tell me about that.
Yeah, super early. Again, where I grew up in Southeast London, you know, a lot of problems, you know, a lot of bullies, people trying to rob your stuff, and you get to a point where I was even bullied, you know, and you get to a point where you got to start sticking up for yourself and defending yourself. And then it did get a bit like that. I'm talking from legit, like 5, 6, 7 years old, you know, so it was like I was already in Fran fisticuffs and stuff. Yeah. And then it got to a point where I was like looking after my friends, and my friends would come to me, oh, so-and-so's doing this, and then we would go try and handle the situation or whatever. You know, and then one thing led to another, got into judo, got into a few things, and man, I've been in combat sports now 20 years, you know, and that's controlled my anger. I'm not crazy in any way, can be, but obviously I'm not. But yeah, growing up in South London, wasn't the easiest, you know what I mean, by any means, but yeah, you know, live and learn, and you adapt to your surroundings and so forth. And
heard a story that when you were growing up, that you and your dad were bouncers together.
Yep.
So you could beat people up.
Literally, bro. We worked on a door together. Yeah. You know, for a good few years, I suppose. You know, we had different doors that we'd work, and sometimes away from each other and so forth. But when we'd work together, I'm talking every 2-3 weeks, you're throwing hands with someone. You're getting into a fisticuffs, you know. And we've had like groups of people, and it's kicking off, and like me and my dad are like next to each other, and we're like throwing fists, you know. Plenty of times that's definitely happened.
Your dad encouraged you in a lot of the fighting, right? I think when you talk about like people who get into fighting, well, maybe growing up, your dad's like, oh, settle things with words or talk. Your dad was not that kind of a guy, right?
No, if I was getting bullied and someone would pick on me, it's like, all right, you can fight my son, like one-on-one. You fight my son, and like, you know, and that's how it would be. Yeah. And it's not that like he push the agenda of the violence, but like, yeah, it was that toughness, because at the end of the day, you can't walk around this world, you know, I can't remember what they call them, like beta males.
Beta male, yeah.
I'm definitely not that, you know, so it's like you can't, and especially in this day and age, you can't walk around the world like that, mate. There's too much, there is a lot of violence that goes on, you know, especially here in Florida. You know, you got guns, knives, so forth. You've got knives and everything in London, and you're not allowed to defend yourself in London, which is absolutely insane. But like, it's just, yeah, you know, kids want to fight me, and they'd be like, all right, you can fight my son, and we'd get into it, you know.
And that's how you settle it.
And that's how we settle it. And I feel like that's the right way. Even to this day, don't get me wrong, I've knocked people out and like kicked them in the face. Don't get me wrong. Like when it's something that's really intent, and like I did want to hurt somebody, I have done that. But for me, I'm very I've had plenty street situations, hit somebody, hit the ground, and I'd be like, you know, get up, you want to carry on or not? And like, they was like, no, I'm done. I'm like, cool. I'll literally shook their hand and I'll walk away. You know, to me, I feel like that is the best way of handling the situation. If people want to be violent and try and pick on you in that, all right, have a straightener, have a one-on-one, no knives, no guns. And whoever wants to quit or say stop first, that's that. And then just go your way. But it ain't like that. But that's how I grew up.
Yeah.
You know?
This might sound like an odd question.
Ask it.
Do you think that we have maybe a lack of violence in our culture that's degrading it to an extent? And hear me out.
Hear me.
I think that we're living in a culture where everything has become so upside down. And it's because everything is based on, like, we pontificate about ideas, and it's ideology, and it's philosophy, and it's the idea of how things should be, but how things are not actually, right? Because there is a hierarchy. And violence, to an extent, I'm not talking about killing people, right? But violence does set order into society in a lot of ways. And I think
100%.
maybe that's why our society has become so inverted, because what we've trained people in is that violence is not the answer to anything. Actually, it can be at times.
It can be in the right scenarios.
Yeah.
Primest example, you got these little kids, like a parent, and they got 2 boys.
Yeah.
And they're 6, 7, 8 years old, and they're F you to the parents, and they've already gone past so many boundaries that, you know, that they shouldn't even be at that point, but they already are. And you see videos of like people, like kids talking to their parents with like trash mouth, mate, like swearing, effing, blinding. If I had done that, I get a whack, mate. I wouldn't do it again. I've had soap put in my mouth, you know. I've had my ass slapped plenty of times, and not having my head smashed in by any means, but like the same as something does wrong and you, like, what are you doing? Don't do that.
Right.
Okay, and it's like, whoa, okay. There's levels to it. I'm not there, bang, 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 bang.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
You're not taking out your anger
It's
on
not
the
child
child.
abuse,
Right,
no,
right.
not at all.
Right.
But like that tough love, that, you know, you've done something wrong, take your computer away, or, you know, I didn't grow up with iPads and stuff like that.
Sure.
Obviously, my generation.
Sure.
So it was still like, you know, still had PlayStation 1 and stuff back then when I was, you know, a teen. But like, you know, couldn't play video games, couldn't do this, couldn't do that, go to your room, you know, get on with homework or do something where just in my room, I'm not allowed to go outside and play and be with my friends and whatnot. But like the way it is now, it's just like people are so soft, and like everyone shouts like child abuse or this or that, and like violence. There's a quote, you know, saying, you know, violence solves everything, like to a certain degree, but like you're saying, like killing and stuff is like a whole different aspect. But
Sure.
you know, bringing up your children in a firm manner, I think is correct. It's the way I was raised, and it's the way I will raise my children. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like it does create structure. You know, having your kid do chores and do this and do that. Like I had all that. You know, I did have that foundation to understand, you know, how it should be. You know, and if I done something wrong, you know, my dad was always the one that kind of, you know, my parents separated when I was 2. So I've always been back and forth with my parents. I've been at my mum's and my dad's, mum's, dad's. But my dad was more the firm one. Don't get me wrong, my mum's told me off, give me a whack, whatever. But my dad was the one that I've always been like, damn, like I don't want to upset my dad. You know, I want my dad to be proud of me, and you know, and he is, as obviously he's super proud of where I'm at. But it was more, I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to disappoint my dad, and I didn't want my dad to then be like, right, you're in fucking trouble. Like go to your room, you know. But yeah, people are too soft now, mate.
Yeah.
Way too soft. This new gen, this Gen Z, rubbish, bro.
Well, and I think to some extent, and I agree with you, like I always believed with my kids, I had 5 kids, and always believed in disciplining them and spanking them when it was necessary. And again, to your point, that doesn't mean that you're going off and you're taking out your anger on them. No. But certainly with, you have to correct your child, right?
100%.
And the problem is we're living in a society that refuses to correct anything. In fact, what we've reached the point of, and I know you're not afraid to talk politics, but we've reached the point where everything goes. So now it's almost like we're breeding a mental illness within our society where 100%. Because everything's permissible. Now your kid wants to be a cat. Your kid decides they want to change their gender whenever they want to. And it's like, and I'm not saying that you spank them because they want to be a cat. I'm saying that the permissiveness of nothing can be corrected leads you to a place of almost insanity at times.
But it's the fact of like, you know, all these like kids going in and like saying I'm a dog or I'm, you know, this they, them or whatever non-binary rubbish. Like, bro, like there's boys, there's girls. And like the stuff that goes on in schools, like it was different my generation, you know, to this how it is now. It's like, how is there anything to do? There shouldn't even be like yeah, again, nothing against gay people or anything like at all. I've got gay friends. I talk my gay nonsense, whatever. I don't care what you want to do.
Sure.
You don't need a flag. You don't need a month of celebrating you being gay. Like, that's your choice. Go do that. And then you got this stuff with the dog stuff, and it's a straight up female, and like, I'm a he, him. Like, bro, you got a vagina. What are you talking about? Like, come on, man. And it's like, it's so confusing to the younger generation. Now you got, how are parents allowed to give puberty blockers and stuff like that to an infant, to an infant who doesn't even know what that is. Like, it is beyond me. If my son comes home from school saying, "Oh, my teacher was teaching me this, and I want to go in the dress tomorrow," bro, I'll slap you so hard around your face, and I'll be going into that school, mate, and that will be a problem. Yeah. Like, I don't want my kids. I don't have children, and I would like to have children at some point. My kids will never go to a public school, and I'll say that loud and clear, bro. They will never go to a public school.
Would you homeschool them?
I would 100% homeschool them, and I'll get the best, as much time as I can get with my children, and obviously have the best, influence and stuff around them. I want my kid at 4 years old telling me about my taxes and playing violin or something. Mm-hmm. I don't want him coming home from school saying, my daughter saying I'm a him, or whatever. Yeah. It's just insane the way the world is right now and how we're literally watching it happen.
Yeah, the public school system in a lot of ways has become social engineering. Yeah. Right? It is not, people used to call it
on a level,
socialization. Mate. It's not. It's social engineering. You're engineering kids to become these very strange people that you want them to be. And to your, so I homeschooled all 5 of my kids.
Oh, congrats.
And yeah, it was one of the things that I'm most proud of in my life is that, made that decision with my wife. And there were times when it was tough. I'll tell you, there were times when she didn't want to keep doing it and was like, I'm out. I don't want to keep doing this. And I was the one who kind of held it and said, then I'll do it. And I'm going to hold on to this. It was such a deep conviction for me that we had to do this because I was like, I cannot put them in this system. And I'm so glad to this day that I never did.
They're changing the history and everything now in schools. Yeah. They're eliminating certain things. And man, you see all the books and stuff that are in these schools. Like, bro, like straight up like sexual stuff. And this is like 4 or 5 years old. Yeah. And you're going to educate my child with this nonsense. Bro, you is beyond me. Yeah. It is insane. And something definitely has to change because it's absolutely disgusting.
Absolutely. No question about it.
But yeah, again, I got nothing against anyone. Trans, this. Yeah. I know some.
If you're an adult, live your life.
Bro, I know some super hot trans girls. They are honestly stunning. Go do you. Like, you do your thing. But like, again, you don't need a month of it. You don't need this rainbow and this and that. Like, bro, you're just people. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Well, all of that is pitting people against each other. Yeah. Right?
And it creates a separation. It creates all this madness that's going on.
It does. Whereas, again, I agree with you. Just, you want to live your life, you're an adult, do what you want to do. That's totally
But don't be putting that on your children when they're 5 years old and trying to put a dress on a little boy.
Well, and the interesting thing is, I think, and I have to see the stats, but I think most people who are trans, if they do have kids, which I don't think most of them even do, they're not the ones doing that. No. It's these people who decide that they want to assign this to their kids, right? Who aren't even trans
man or
themselves.
A woman, exactly. Yeah, and they're not even trans. It's irrelevant to the whole matter of the fact. But then they're pushing that on your child. Yeah. That's strange, bro.
Yeah, it's very strange. Very strange.
Let
me come back to your story, though.
Yeah, go on.
So you did bare-knuckle fighting starting in what, 2020?
I had my bare-knuckle debut in 2020. Yes.
2020. Why did you move over to bare-knuckle?
Okay, so I'd had 30 MMA fights, and my last MMA fight was at the end. It was actually November. I think it was November 9th. It was my dad's birthday, or November 10th, 2018. That was out in Detroit, Michigan, and whatever I had, it was a title fight, whatever.
And how long were you doing MMA, by the way?
Okay, I had my debut in 2006. I had my last MMA fight in 2018.
Oh wow! So you did at least 12 years.
Yeah. Is it 12? Yes, 12 years, right? 14 years. 14? 12, 2006.
2006, 2018, you said?
Yeah. Sorry, my bad. I'm on the spot, not really thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, long time. My first 4 or 5 fights were actually underage, technically. So I had to change my date of birth on the contract.
How old were you?
So I was 16 in my debut. So I was at school doing my GCSEs at the time. And you had to be 18 for pro rules. And you could head stomp a grounded opponent. And I was 16 at school doing my exams, playing rugby, just legit. And the fight opportunity popped up. And I fought a 24-year-old man, 6'4". Yeah. That fought 185. And I knocked him out cold in 9 seconds. And then I was like, I want to do this for a living, I'd knocked people out prior to that, just like school stuff or in the streets or whatever. Rugby, football games, whatever, I've been around it. And then I done that, and I was like, oh, damn, I just knocked out a grown-ass man. I'm 16 years old. I've got to go back to school in a couple of days to, do some more exams, some more tests. And, I was a jit, man. So that was my first fight. So whatever, that was that. I had that amount of fights. And then, in end of 2018, I'd had a couple of MMA fights, and it just it didn't go my way. I feel like I got fudged over. Guy clipped me, rocked me. I carried on fighting. He clipped me again. He's on top of me, hitting me, but I'm still fighting. And they stopped the fight. They gave him the win. I stood straight up. I was straight fine. Like I was A-okay. I got up. I was going crazy. What are you doing? Stopping the fight. Blah blah blah. I was like, I'm done with this. Like, I'm done with MMA. And I literally hung me MMA gloves up from that, and was like, do you know what? I'm gonna get into boxing. So then I was just in the gym putting boxing boots on, and it was a whole different. No, MMA to boxing, for anyone that understands the sports, are two completely different sports. And bare knuckle boxing is again a complete different sport. You need obviously more boxing foundation because you're just using your hands, but it's still from bare knuckle to just regular boxing. It is like night and day difference. With the clinch, with obviously you're punching with a bare fist, the angles of the shots, you can clinch, you can hold. So it's just like again different. So I got into the boxing, really enjoyed it, and then BKFC was like seeing more of it and this bare knuckle stuff, and I was like, yo, it's like reminds me of my younger days. Like this is like this is professional. This is like proper professional street fighting. Like that's lit. And to me, it was like the rawest of it all. You know, it's like you're jumping in the deep end. You know what I mean? Yeah. So fight opportunity, same thing. I was doing all the training, and then I had a manager at the time. Asked them to reach out and see about getting me a fight, and I had my debut in 2020. I'd had a boxing fight prior to that, tell a lie, in 2019, and I completely ruptured my bicep, tore my bicep off. Yeah, it sucked first round, and then in the third round, completely ruptured it from both ends. So like I literally had no left hand. And then I actually scored the draw with one arm. So that was pretty cool. And he was another 6'4" dude. I fought that fight at I was like 212. You know, I was lifting a lot then. I was bigger, stronger.
And how tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
5'8".
5'8".
And he's fighting 6'4" with one arm.
Yeah, literally. And I scored a draw. It was pretty cool. So at least I got that with one arm. And then the bare knuckle thing was about, and I had someone reach out to the company and see about having me on. And then that was that. I had a fight for them. I think it was in like November or something in 2020. And then I've had 9 bare knuckle fights now.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm now obviously working with All In Management. They're taking care of me now. So they're on the lookout for the next opportunities and that to come the rest of this year. And
you've done really well in bare knuckle.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it, man. Like my last fight, I got robbed 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
You were undefeated until that last fight, correct?
No, I wasn't undefeated. No. I got a couple losses. Again, they were decision wins, decision losses. Sorry, but again, fight the night fights. And it wasn't like very two-sided. It wasn't like I had my head smashed in. I had one fight was a little bit like that against Lane. I definitely was like I lost that fight clear as day. But other than that, my losses were just decisions. Other than that, I've won by decision and got stoppages. So I was on a bit of a tear with like 3 fights, back-to-back wins with bare knuckle until this last one. And then it was a hometown guy, hometown favorite, rubbish, mate. It's bollocks though, because I've sat and watched that fight multiple times, and not even biased to myself and anyone else that watches it. I knock him down in the second round. I beat his ass up in the third, and then I feel I pinched it for sure in the 5th. And I scored a knockdown. So, bro, I won that fight. And then they said it was a draw, gave us another round, and then he pressed me a little bit more, was on the front foot in the 6th round, and obviously they swayed it over to him. But it didn't even need the 6th round, bro. Yeah. So, I would love to get that one back. I doubt it's going to be that simple that they're going to be like, oh, yeah, let's just run it back. They're going to take that win and run with it. You know, it's Eddie Alvarez's guy. It comes from that team, So that and it was a very close fight for them. It was a risky fight at the end of the day. You're going to fight me again. Like I'm going to come 100% guns blazing, and I'm going to take that fight. And I doubt they're going to want it. So I think we're going to just try and make some moves and see what's going to come next.
Politics. We were talking about that earlier. Yeah. I mean, MMA, boxing, bare knuckle fighting. It's all very political. Also,
politics are everywhere, bro. Yeah. There's always favorites. There's always this. Depends on what state you're in. You can see people get literally smashed up for multiple rounds, and they'll still give the win to the person who's getting his head smashed in. Yeah. And it's like, really? It does happen. My fight was pretty close at the same time. Like, I still feel I nabbed it, but I was in his hometown. But yeah, there is politics everywhere. In life, in any sport you go to, politics everywhere. Yeah.
Politics had pretty much destroyed boxing.
Yeah.
as a sport. I mean, it had become kind of a joke at a certain point. Nobody was interested anymore.
Yeah.
I know you know Jake Paul. You were sparring with him. I don't know what your opinions are on him, but I will say I believe that Jake and Logan Paul saved boxing.
100%.
You know, it's
And
amazing.
I'll
what they did.
100% vouch for that.
Yeah.
I tell people that all the time. Like, at the end of the day, like look at Amanda Serrano.
Yeah.
You know, it's like she went from fighting, making chump change, whatever she was making, I don't even really know, but it was nothing like she's doing now.
Yeah.
And then for someone like Jake to get under her wing and do this and put on like the fighting, the fights that he's, you know, been involved in, his own fights,
Sure.
and obviously his events, the MVPs.
Yep.
Man, the production's good, everything's good, like, and the fights are always really good. You
Yeah.
know, he's, you know, really good.
They're
boxing.
entertaining, right?
They're entertaining.
Whether or not they're great fights isn't as important
always
as
a
the
form
fact
of
that it's a
entertainment.
draw that people want to see.
Yeah.
And I think that's what they understood that nobody else in boxing seemed to understand.
Yeah.
Was this sport's boring? It's not interesting to anyone. People don't care about the fighters.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so they come out and they're and I don't know that they're the best fighters. I think you can make a lot of argument that they're not. Who cares?
Yeah.
They made the sport interesting again.
Yeah.
You can, you know, the Tyson Jake Paul fight
Yeah.
was one where I was like, I can't not watch this thing,
Yeah,
even if I think the whole thing is just a joke.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Still
so
gonna watch it.
entertaining. You have to watch
Yeah.
it, right? You
And
can't
because it's
help
on Netflix, man, vouch for them, mate. Because they've done it on Netflix.
Yeah.
It's awesome, bro. Because like, how many views that had?
Yeah.
Or any events that they do now through Netflix.
Yeah.
Everyone's got Netflix, bro.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's like that's awesome that it puts it out there for everybody, rather than all this pay-per-view stuff and all of this and all of that. It's like they make it so convenient that I can literally go, boom, boom, put my Netflix on.
That's right.
And it's like
There
right
it
there.
is.
Okay, great.
Right in front of you.
You know what I mean? So like, no, they've done good there.
They really
You know?
have.
But yeah, 100%. Jake like really did throw boxing way more on the map. 100%.
Yeah.
You know? And then obviously you got Misfits boxing. That's
Sure.
more influencers and stuff like
Yes.
that. But the same thing, like they put on really good fights. You know, I had one fight for them against Chris Avila. I actually lost that fight. It was super frustrating, crazy night. That we had a bomb scare that night. The whole building had to get evacuated. I was sitting in the back of a police car trying to stay warm. Like, bro, that night was a long one. But anyway, same thing though. It's like it's just still putting eyes on boxing, and because you've got these influencers, you know, big following, and you're bringing such different eyeballs and crowds into the sports, which is again great because you're putting eyeballs on boxing again. You know. So.
Well, there's a lot of influencers who have moved into fighting sports. At the same time, the fighters themselves have become influencers. Do you consider yourself an influencer?
That's the thing. It's like I need to be more on my socials. I do. I've really slacked off socials. It does my head in, mate. Like it really does. I kind of need someone to like manage my stuff or something. But I am at a point because, you know, I do have a decent following and so forth. You know, people do look up to me, and you know, and my audience, you know, I got like 370K or something on just my Instagram. I only really use Instagram anyway, but just on that platform, it's like 95% male.
Yeah.
It's just men, you know, and they love the fighting, the guns, you know, just man stuff, you know what I mean? And a lot of people inspire to, you know, the losses I have had, and you know, and the things that I've, you know, had to work through to still try and stay on top. You know, the grit, the determination, and like, you know, really the consistent fight battle through life in general, because everyone's battling something at the end of the day, you know. And I do my best to put it all into the gym and in the ring, you know. But yeah, it's you know, I feel like I am out here to try and inspire, and you know, I do have a voice, you know, and I have people that are viewing that. So I feel I have definitely gone a little bit more towards the influencer side. You know, I try and do like comedy skits and stuff like that, because again, it's fun, and it is fun, you know. I just need to pull my finger out and do it a little bit more.
Absolutely. But as you become more and more of an influential voice, what are you wanting to influence people toward?
Honestly, just man, like, okay, my biggest thing is, how can I explain? Like, at the end of the day, everyone, again, is going through something in their life, yeah? I feel you are the priority, because, like, if my cup's not full, then I can't share my energy with anybody else. I feel like people need to focus on themselves a little bit and, like, get their shit straight before then trying to, you know, go around with your half-empty cup, with your half-assed nonsense, trying to help others, when realistically you're the priority. And it's not even nothing selfish, but like, you are the priority. If I'm not good and healthy and well and mentally, you know, ready for my day or life in general, how am I supposed to help others? So for me, I just want people to do good in the world. You can hold a door open and say thank you. You can let somebody pull out in traffic.
Yeah.
You see a little old lady that needs help with something, go help them.
Yeah.
I don't feel you go out. You can go and give and not expect anything in return. A please and a thank you is always nice, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter what it is, but you know, I carry when I'm here, so I've always got my gun on me. It's like I'm always prepared to, like, if I ever was seeing a situation, I would probably risk my life to try and save a situation, you know, if I saw something really going down. It's all about just trying to, because I'm a protector in general, what I do and how I carry myself as an individual. You know, I'm about looking after women, protecting children, you know, all the stuff that's going on in the world, you know, anything to do with kids. I despise of that, mate. And I think anyone to do with anything of that needs death and gone, like straight up. I just, you can't, if someone's dead, they can't reoffend. And anything to do with children or like beating women or anything like that is beyond me. So like my message is always, you know, you can be an alpha male, you know, you see me cuddling up with my cats at home and being all cute and whatever. And then when you have to defend or look after somebody or protect someone or something in this world, go do it and be a man about it. Yeah. You know, I feel like we've got very soft men now, very, very soft, very, very femme, you know? Yep. And it's like, where's the men? Like, where's the man? Where's the men now? Because like I'm seeing way less of it.
So where are they?
You know?
I mean, what's happened to men, do you think?
Mate, I don't know. I feel everyone's got soft. Everything's, all the left stuff is like very soft. Like no one really, people are pussies, bro. I can't even say it in the simplest, cleanest way. And it annoys me how soft this generation is, you know? And you got people like myself and like yourself that are, you know, be proud of being a man and like Americans are awesome. Like how is waving an American flag racist in any way, shape or form? The same as in the UK. Yeah. You know, how can you get in trouble for waving an English flag? Yeah. But you can have a Palestinian flag or like anything else on these other ethnic whatever flags, and that's okay. In England, right? So I'm in America and I'm waving an American flag. I proudly call myself American. Like I love it. I come to this country as an immigrant, got my paperwork, all my legit, not illegally. You know, ICE are doing their thing. Everyone's hating on ICE, bro. They're getting rid of illegal immigrants that are not documented. I'm talking about, no, they're getting rid of citizens. And shut up, do your facts, do your research. Yeah. It's just I feel like people are just so soft, and I don't even really know what this generation really wants anymore. Right.
I don't think they know what they want.
I don't think so, mate. No. Listen, if you are a female wearing a dog thing on your face saying that you're a dog, I think you're a bit confused and you don't really know what the hell you want, because you don't even know yourself at the end of the day, and how are you supposed to now portray that to the world or make a positive impact. Walking my child around like on a leash, like what are you talking about? Like it's just, the world is so messed up, and there definitely is divide, and there's definitely left, and there's definitely right. Yeah, 100%. You know.
Do you think that especially for men, though, you talk about your followers, right? Yep. And so the majority of your 370,000 are going to be young men, right? Yep. And these are probably not a bunch of pussy guys, right? These are guys.
I got a lot of military guys, and I got SEALs on there. I got,
But it's hard to be that man in this world, right? Because
100%.
There isn't a space for you anymore. No. The society that we're living in right now has rejected those men. And so what you even described, you said, you know, try to help a lady across the street or hold doors open for people, whatever you can do. Even some of that is resisted, where you hold a door and somebody's like, whoa, what are you trying to do? That's like a microaggression.
No, I'm not going to go through. Like,
it's hard to be a man in this society.
It really is, mate. And like we're talking about, that's just simple manners. Yeah. That's the way I was raised. Right. And that's what I know. Yeah. You know, and my kids will know the same thing. It's not hard to open the door, or it's not hard to say please or thank you. Like even letting someone cross the street and you don't even acknowledge me and put your hand up and say thank you. Right. Bro, I'm walking across the street, I'm like, thank you. Yeah. Like, I appreciate you. You're stopping your day to let me cross the street. Right. I appreciate you. Thank you.
I think you're making actually a pretty profound point, right? Which is that if we're going to fix big things, you got to fix small things first.
100%.
And if you can't show gratitude for a small thing, right? You can't be polite in a small way. You can't, you know, not get furious because somebody stepped in front of you in line and it's like, whoa, what are you doing? Right? But I think men set that tone.
Yeah.
And I don't see them setting that tone anymore, right? The majority of men are not doing that. In fact, the majority of men, this will sound terrible to some people, are so feminine in their behavior, but it's not just that they're feminine, it's that they act like angry women do. In a lot of cases, right?
Yeah.
Like it's their time of the month now. And so they're mad about all the little things that happen and they blow up and so many men now, it's like, I just need a moment and my stress and my anxiety. And it's like, our language has become the language of women. And maybe that's because women are the teachers, women are the nurses, women are now the CEOs in a lot of places and they're running a lot of companies. I was talking to somebody the other day because I worked in TV news for so long, right?
Okay, awesome.
And they said, do you ever miss it? I said, no, I absolutely hated it. And this will sound bad to some people, but one reason I hated it is every newsroom in America basically became completely taken over by women. And so all the news directors are women, all the executive producers are women, most of the on-air people are women. And so if you're a man in that space, it's a difficult space to be unless you're a very feminized man.
Yeah.
And so I think there's a feminization that happens, and it's not saying women are bad,
No.
but if you are a man in a very feminized space, it's very difficult to exist in that space.
This is actually really good. I was in the gym actually yesterday. I was in the gym, my local spot. I was in their sauna in the sauna and steam, and there was these two kids in there. One's a boxer, and he was with this other kid. He's like 26, and I'd come into the changing room, and he was like, what, he's like, yo, this dude's trying to get me boxing. And I was like, that's good. He's like, man, I don't want to get punched in the face and like, don't really like this, don't really like that. And he tells me, he's like, yeah, man, like I grew up with a single mum, I had no dad. And he was like, so I was like, explain that to me. Cause like, I'm generally, now we're getting into this, I don't even know him. Like, I don't even know this kid, but I was like, no, let's get into it. He was a black kid. And he was like, yeah, man, like my pops were on the bat. And it was very, I was just around women. And like, I feel, it's quite soft and this and that. And I'm like, yeah, like, I was like, that sucks. I'm sorry that you experienced that because I know that a lot of youths have that. They have no parents. I'm blessed. I have my mum and my dad and I've got a male figure and I've got a female figure. I really do. And I'm blessed with that. And I know people when they don't, and I know that if I didn't have my dad in my younger days, I'd be a very different person right now, 100%. So I even said to him, I was like, man, that sucks. I'm sorry that you went through that. I was like, but boxing, if anything, will help you. I was like, how can you walk around the streets knowing that you can't even defend yourself like a female? Like that's why if I have a lady with me or whatever, I'm your protector.
Sure.
I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that you're good. And I love that. And I know I can provide that. So how are you as a man walking around the streets knowing that you can't even, like, you get jumped right now, you can't even defend yourself. Like you don't even know how to throw a punch.
Right.
So I feel like anyone from young or whatever should for sure be doing sports.
Yeah.
I was playing rugby, I was doing judo, very aggressive, strong sports. I wasn't like playing tennis and stuff, which is fine. It's a great sport, but at the end of the day, I was around combat in general. So like, I'd say to anyone growing up, man, like get into at least boxing. Just at least know how to get into a stance and throw hands. One day, mate, that might save your life.
Yeah. It's
Period,
true.
100%.
And if nothing else, just being able to get into that stance may deter people from fighting with you enough.
100%. But I've had scenarios like that. So I've got into scenarios and I've gone, okay, no, I'm like, okay, let's go. Undone my shirt, I put my hands up, and they're like, oh, no.
Yeah, because they realize that you actually know what you're doing.
You kind of know what I'm going to do, and you don't.
Yeah. But you said something about he didn't want to be hit in the face. I don't know if he's ever been hit in the face. But I think every boy, every man should be hit in the face at some point in your life.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? If you've never been hit in the face, there's something wrong.
Yeah.
Because you're now avoiding and listen, it ain't gonna kill you.
No.
Right? It's not gonna destroy you.
No.
It may rock you a little.
Yeah.
That's okay.
But like, it's only gonna, like, bro, I didn't like being hit in the face.
Sure.
I didn't, mate. The amount of times I've cried in the gym from having my ass kicked.
Yeah.
Like, trust me, mate. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
But look where I'm at now. It's just that constant grit and get through it. And I am actually okay. Yeah, something hurt, whatever. Yeah. But I am okay. And I keep doing it and keep doing it. And then it's like, that's just normal now.
Yeah.
After a while, you adapt.
And even if you're not boxing, right? Just the idea that once you've been hit, you realize that
okay, it
ain't gonna kill me.
No, it's not.
Right?
It's
okay to get hit.
Yeah, 100%.
But everything that we're living in tells us it's not.
Yeah.
It tells us to avoid that at all costs, right? And you also made a comment about, like even in the UK where you can't defend yourself, right? We're living in a culture that is actually actively telling people to not defend themselves.
Mate, the police, there is videos, adverts.
Yeah.
If you see somebody or someone breaks into your home, run, hide,
Yeah.
so you're safe.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yes.
I ain't running from shit.
Yeah.
Mate, I'm guns blazing. Who's in my house? Oh, bruv, you're not leaving my house.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's here. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But even if it wasn't,
Right.
still, you're not allowed to
Right.
do this. Bro, if you break into my home
Yeah.
and you got a hood
I'm
up
not
and stuff,
hiding.
bro,
Yeah.
nah, you're in trouble, mate.
Yeah.
Like, big trouble. Like, that is just, it's crazy. How can you tell somebody to run and hide?
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, that's to set the example. It's like, no, how can you not, maybe however they could word it, but like, try and defend yourself or your loved ones. You're in a home with 5 kids, your wife, this, that, and the other, animals.
Yeah.
Even if someone broke in and done something to one of my cats,
Yeah.
brother, it's game over, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, that's game
Well,
over,
and it goes
mate.
for so many things. I remember when my kids, I had my first 4, and we bought a house that had a swimming pool, right? And I grew up like super poor. We didn't have anything at all. I'd never had a swimming pool.
Damn.
I didn't know how to swim at all.
Damn, that's
Just
crazy.
couldn't do it.
That's crazy.
And I remember my wife knew how to swim, and we bought this house, and I said, first thing I said was, I was, 35 years old. You got to teach me how to swim.
Damn, that's crazy.
Why? And she was like, why? And I said, because I will not live in a place where if one of my kids is in danger, I can't help them.
Yeah.
No way.
100%.
And so it was super embarrassing. You're this grown-ass man. You're trying to learn how to
I'm
swim.
sure.
It's terrible.
But you manned up about it, and I appreciate you
Absolutely.
even talking about that, because, people...
But you get
wouldn't
down and
even
you
say
do
that.
it, and within, a couple weeks, I was like, I can swim.
Kind of understood it, yeah.
But I had to sit there, and it's terrible, because if you don't know how to swim, so here's the thing. If you're a baby, babies know how to swim.
Okay.
Right? So if you throw a baby
Yeah,
into
they normally,
water, it reflexively knows how to swim.
Yeah, yeah.
The older you get, the harder it is.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you're an adult, it's very hard to learn how to do it. And so, again, it's embarrassing, but it's also like just this process of like, I'm just flopping, I can't do anything. And so it's so hard to learn how to do something like that. But it's like, but what's the reason are you doing it? Well, if the reason you're doing it is because you say, I refuse to ever be incapacitated. I refuse to ever be in a position where I cannot do what I need to do.
Yeah.
Now, I will say this, to this day, I'm the weakest swimmer of all of them. They're all great swimmers.
Yeah.
I'm the weakest one, but I can swim.
But you can survive in water.
I can survive in water.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
At least,
and I can get out.
Yeah.
Right? And if somebody goes in, I can get them and get out.
You know
right?
enough to be able to do something.
And I think that concept translates into so many areas of life, right? Where too often as men, we're outsourcing to other people.
Yeah,
Well, they can
always.
take care of this, they can fix this, they can handle this. That goes to safety, but it goes to everything.
Everything,
Even what
bro.
you were talking about of politeness. We're outsourcing politeness to other people.
insane,
we
bro.
outsource kindness. We're outsourcing protection. We're outsourcing everything. And we're just standing back. And then we have a generation of men who are sitting there and they're like, I don't know what my purpose is. It's because they've robbed you of your purpose.
Yeah.
They've told you that your purpose belongs to everyone else, so there's nothing for you to do. You know?
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah.
It is. It's crazy times right now, man. It really is. Men be men, bro.
Men be men.
You know.
Exactly.
And it's not rocket science.
But don't you think that there is a, and you would know this probably better than anybody, right? There is a craving among a lot of men to find that. They just need someone who tells them it's okay. Like this kid you're
Yeah.
talking about sitting in the gym,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
He's only talking to you because he needs somebody to tell him it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay to get hit.
I have DMs from people all the time, you know, like, man, how do you stay so consistent doing this or consistent doing that? I want to be more like you. I want to be able to walk the streets knowing that I can protect myself. I actually have messages like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, get yourself in the gym.
Yeah.
This, that, and the other. Man, the amount of people I've had people message me, man, literally, you saved my life, bro. I come across one video of you. I followed your page. I watched through all of your stuff. I was drinking. I was doing this. I was doing that. I'm now training boxing so many times a week. Literally, brother, changed my life. Thank you so much. Like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's pretty cool, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the example that a man should put to another man.
Absolutely.
Now, he is now going to understand that kind of information to a certain degree and be able to maybe influence another person or another gentleman around him, you know. Let's go back there real quick, talk about Andrew Tate and Tristan.
Yeah.
They actually know Andrew. We went on a stag do and stuff back in the day. We used to train together way back when. We was actually on a fight show together
Nice.
called Infusion.
Yeah.
He was on a different team, but yeah, he's super cool. Anyway, as an example, there's a lot of things that he says, you know, about women, about this, that, and the other that, you know, I wouldn't necessarily 100% agree with.
He's a provocateur.
Yeah. But there's a lot of things he says that is like so true. And I feel, he's being silenced and stuff right now. And, I'm obviously reading up on a lot of the case and everything that's going on because obviously he's been arrested, blah, blah, blah. Again, obviously. And I generally feel that it's more just to shut his mouth because the influence that he does put out to the new generation about getting in shape, going to the gym, be a man. Like, it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. Certain things I don't necessarily agree with. I'm like, I wouldn't have said that, but whatever. But a lot of the stuff that comes out of his mouth is pretty straightforward about you just being a man and like do your duty, bro, as a man. And being a man isn't easy. Especially like me or like yourself. If I was a beta male, maybe it'd be quite easy, get on with the world. But when you were trying to be someone like myself, you want to stand out, I got a big voice, I got a big image, I'm known as brutal Bostwick, I'm this bare-knuckle fighter, I'm this man. And like I have to hold I have to hold that, and it's not easy. I have my lows, I've had my depression things, I've had my drinking phases, I've had all that, I've done it all. But like, still a man, and like, it's not easy, but like, I know what I represent as a male figure, and I just feel the new generation, I want to see that and be, do sports, just put good into the world, You don't need religions and anything like that. You can just understand what's right and what's wrong and what's good and what's bad. Like, it's pretty straightforward, It's not rocket science.
You said something about with Andrew Tate. So I wouldn't say that I know him. He and I have talked a few times, but I wouldn't say I know him. What I would say is just from a journalistic standpoint of looking at what's going on with him. The case that was against him in Romania fell apart completely. They just never had a case. They held him for so long, and Tristan for so long, and they never had a case. Now you have these charges that have come up in the UK, and they keep adding new things to it, and now there's like a child thing that they've added to it also, right? Here's what stands out to me about that, is that it's the same claims, the same charges. And when I actually read through a lot of the charges in the Romanian case, and it was silly stuff, like, they would make TikToks and have girls who would dance on TikTok, and then they wouldn't give them the TikTok earnings, so that's sex trafficking. It's like, what are you talking about? Like,
do you know what I mean?
You know what I mean? But here's what I think is interesting. Tristan Tate and Andrew Tate have both been arrested multiple times. They're being extradited now from the United States to the UK. Not one person from the Epstein files has been arrested.
Isn't that crazy?
Not one. And that tells you, at least not in the United States, right? But that tells you something, to your point, which is that whatever messaging the Tate brothers have is so dangerous to the system that's being forged that they cannot be allowed to be free. Right? We have to destroy these men. And they're not, I agree with you. Some of the stuff they say, it's provocateurs, right? It's provocative stuff. And that's fine. That's how you get clicks.
I see way more worse stuff being said out there, bro.
Much worse. Much worse.
What's the fascination with these
Here's
two?
what I'll get to. If you're really concerned about trafficking, right? If that's really the concern, why is OnlyFans allowed to exist at all? Right? Why do we allow all these porn sites to exist? Again, porn sites are filled with trafficking. Who's going after those people?
Exactly.
Right? They're not going after any of them, because what the Tates are doing, the same thing that you're talking about, is they're trying to inspire men to be better than they are, right? And to reclaim a space that belongs to them. And that's the biggest threat to the power structure that exists. That when men decide that I'm tired of being assigned this back seat in society, and I'm tired of being feminized, and I'm tired of being told that my only worth is what you tell me I'm worth, you're dangerous. And that's so dangerous. And it violates every part of the system that's being created right now.
100%. It's like, he talks about the Matrix and all that. At the end of the day, we are 100% in a system.
Oh, absolutely.
Like factual. Like it is what it is. And you got to not necessarily understand the system, but like, even when it comes to politics and everything, like, and even when it comes to socials and what things you see, and it does create you to maybe not like these people and these people to like them, and it's wrapping our head around other nonsense while bigger nonsense is going on. At the end of the day, this world is deep, and we're never going to really get to the bottom of it. Do I believe there's I believe there's aliens. There's probably aliens that are already on our planet. Right. There has to be way more to
whatever they are. They're definitely here.
100%, bro. And I love talking about the pyramids and stuff all the time, and love watching stuff on the pyramids, because I don't know why that really fascinates me, because I don't feel that was man-made, and I feel that there was a way bigger reason for them. You know,
They were not just
angle,
tools.
There wasn't just there for no, bro, load of nonsense. I do feel it was a power source, or because obviously the other thing that got discovered with the however many kilometers down, with all the other thing that goes down, At the end of the day, there is electricity in the ground. Like there is, we have electricity in our body. Our body mass is the same as the planet itself. If it's 70% water, whatever, we're the same. Yeah. So like, it's just. There's so much stuff going on that we're never going to know, but we're so wrapped up in this other bullshit that it's just distracting us from other things that are really going on. But the world is so upside down right now, mate. It is really insane to see.
No, it's totally insane to see.
It's crazy.
So what would you say would be your advice to these guys who reach out to you, right? Other than get in the gym and maybe start fighting, like what else would you advise to a young man who says to you, I just don't know what to do with myself, and I'm don't know who to become. The economy is garbage. I can't make money. It's not like it used to be where I could go get a factory job and support a family. Yeah. My son made a really interesting point to me the other day. He said he just saw something that said in the 1970s, a milkman, right, the guy walking around with a carton full of milk, could make enough to support a family of 4 by himself.
Wow.
Right? And that's today it's like, that's not even fathomable for young people today.
Never in a million years.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Damn, I'd have to really I say not sit and think, but like there's so much has changed in the world from even my days. For example, you can make so much money just from home, just from your phone. You can make bread, all I have ever really known is like training, coaching. I'm very hands-on, using my hands. I'm not mad knowledgeable when it comes to, computers and, business stuff, technology deep like that. I'm not savvy like that. But this day and age, mate, you can literally make money going to TJ Maxx, Ross, Burlington, find expensive items that are cheaper. And I've seen it. I can't remember the entrepreneur's name. If I knew his name, I'd say it. But he inspires a lot of people to like just hustle, make money, and like tricks and trades and how to. But like you can literally go into a Burlington, whatever, pick up items if you wanted to. Purchase things that were super expensive that they're on like sale, whatever. You get stuff cheap there. Go home, take the stickers off, blah blah blah. Put that on eBay, make a profit on it and so forth, and still sell and make money. So there's ways to work and do things that you don't need to be in an office and do this and do that. That's just a small example. Again, I'm not the smartest, But at the end of the day, I would be, first of all, like, what's your living circumstances? Who do you live with? Who you wrapped around? Who are your friends? Who's your circle? Who do you wrap yourself around? You wrap yourself around people that just smoke weed, hang around, having a drink and whatever. You're going to be a bum just like them. You are what you wrap yourself around. I keep myself to myself. I know a lot of very rich people, very successful people. And when I have that time with them people, sometimes I even ask for a bit of information. Or, it's inspiring to be around someone who has, even look at yourself. From back in the day, you had like nothing to now you've got a nice house with a swimming pool. Congrats to you, bro. That's absolutely awesome. I've never been a hater to anyone being successful, and I hate people that why they got this and why they got that. Like, bro, hats off to you. I know a guy from Hialeah, he's in real estate. Man, he's worth so much money now. He's a good friend of mine. We go shoot guns, drive cars. Like he's super awesome, and it's like he comes from nothing to now he's got this. So when I'm around people like that, it's inspiring, especially because you come from nothing. Like I come from Southeast London, same thing. My dad, dad's hands-on. He's a tiler. He still does tile. My mum works in the gym, whatever. But it's like to think how what you can do in life. So for anyone, bro, like again, who your circle is, who you're wrapped around, what things make you happy. What things excite you? Do you enjoy drawing, coloring? Like there is so many things that you can do that's gonna make you inspired to other things and open your knowledge to other shit. Realistically, bro, you enjoy drawing and coloring. You could write a kid's book. Let's just say better than the nonsense that we're seeing in schools now. But true. Like you could literally be the next person to write, kids' children's books or something. You don't know. It's just like whatever's gonna make you, give to the world in any way, shape or form, because at the end of the day, it's difficult times now, mate. It really is. I'd have to really sit and think on this. Somebody really said to me, like, look, I'm really confused, I don't know what to do. I'd be like, okay, that would be my thing. Who do you wrap yourself around? Who do you live with? Where do you live? What sort of stuff's around? Do you have a gym? Because again, I always feel that training and gyms in general is really good for you. I find training therapy. When I'm out running miles, I don't really like doing it, but I go do it, and to me, it's therapy. It's tough, it's hard work. But man, it's mentally, driving. It's, again, physically driving, and
Absolutely.
I feel, success when I'm finished doing that run. Yeah, man. They're just
Without question. And you make a good point too, which is that do something that you're passionate about or that you love doing.
Yeah.
Right. That's a big part of it. But how important is the grind too? Because
The grind's
you can
more
do a lot of
important.
this stuff, and if you do it for a little bit and then just quit,
No,
you're never going to
listen,
get anywhere.
The grind, bro. The grind's most important. Back in the day, my MMA career, I went 3-0, and then I had 7 losses.
Wow.
7 losses, and I was like, I think I'm gonna be done with this shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have one more fight. I was like, let's see how it goes, and I knocked the kid out 32 seconds. I was like, oh, I still got it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I got to just change the dynamic of what I'm doing and my training and so forth, and like really try it, because I feel I wasn't really trying, but now I really want to try.
Yeah.
But I went on a tear, won like 14 out of 15 fights after that. So it's like the grind is most important. I've been fighting 20 years. You can talk about me and my fight career and this, that, and the other, like where I'm at now. But like, bro, I had my debut in 2006. Yeah. 2000, I was a child. So like, and the storms I've had to weather to even get to here, just life, including fighting stuff, it's like, beyond me, mate, And it's like the determination and the consistent grind and the consistency and getting through them ups and down days, the days that you don't want to go to the gym are normally my best days in the gym, bruv. I'm like really not feeling it, really. I've got sparring today, really not in the mood, really not. I'll go in there, I'm like, mate, I'm floating around that ring like Muhammad Ali. And I was like, and I wasn't even in the mood. And there's days I'm in the mood and then I have a bad day. It's just part and parcel of the grind, mate. You can have good days, you can have bad days. And it's not that it necessarily gets easy. You adapt to it, becoming comfortable with being uncomfortable, like the running and shit. It's like, I don't want to do it, but the more I do it, the more I'm just comfortable with it, because it is uncomfortable, but I'm comfortable with being uncomfortable with it, bro. I've done it enough now to really understand that it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And that's the same with anything. And sometimes it might not work out for a year, 2 years, 3 years. But you keep chipping away, bro. Just keep chipping away. You're chopping that tree down, and you could do it with a butter knife. You could be chopping away at something. At some point, however long that took, it will still get through, and something will still come out the other end. Yeah. So yeah, mate. It's the determination and like the consistent grind, bro. Like it never stops. Even just being a man in general, like
that's right.
It's hard work, and you got to be a man today. All right. It's always there.
As you said, you got to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Well, I really think that's a great thing. I can't remember who said. I can't remember where I even heard that. But I
think it was David Dobbins. I think he was the one who started pushing that idea. Yeah.
But like, it's such a great terminology, bro.
Yeah.
Like, being comfortable with being uncomfortable. It's like, it makes sense.
Yeah. It does.
Because when I get into a ring, like, I almost say I'm uncomfortable. Like, not now, but I'm uncomfortable. I'm nervous. I'm scared. My heart's racing. Like, but like, the more you do it, the more you understand it, and it's like I'm way more comfortable getting in the ring. You see me smiling. I'm like, I'm having fun. I'm gonna have fun today, And it's like, it's just that consistency, man.
I think that goes back to also to what you told that kid who was asking you about the boxing, right? Because what he was really saying to you was, I don't want to be uncomfortable.
Yeah, that's literally what, and I said to him, it's not going to be easy, bro. And it's not like you got to go into a boxing gym and have your face punched in. That's not the case. No. Just go in, get some gloves on, and someone does some mitts with you or some bag work, whatever, and just corrects a few things. And, in time you might get in the ring and do a little bit of moving around, and it's going to be uncomfortable. But like, if you're trained in a controlled environment, like even just, I could spar with a child. I'm not going to hurt you, but like I could still hit you. Like, and you know what I mean? But I'm not going to hurt you in any way, shape or form, but I'm going to touch you when your hand's not here or whatever. But like, the more you're going to do that, the more you're going to, be accompanied to it and understand it and be like, okay, it's not that bad. But like, at least now you know how to sort of defend yourself. At least you know how to like, look after yourself or look after or protect somebody at some point. And you actually know something, because if you know nothing, and that's another thing when it comes to even firearms here in Florida, people want to go buy guns and whatever and know nothing about firearms or how to use one. And I completely disagree with that. I didn't purchase a gun until I knew how to use a firearm. I'm super qualified now. I got my D, my G license. I do executive protection, bodyguard and everything with my gun. Nice. And it's like, I carry my firearm with such confidence because I know that it is super dangerous and I know how to use it. and when necessary, you know. But like people just want to jump the gun and I want it. But like you haven't train, learn, understand what a gun even is and what it's really for and what it's intended to be used for. You know, because you don't know. And you just think you're a little gangbang and you have a gun and know what's up. Like, bro, you don't know nothing. You know what I mean? And it's the same really just with the boxing. It's like, man, get in the gym, like learn a bit. Like you're gonna you might be even uncomfortable knowing how to. You might feel like an idiot. And man, at times I've trained people and they're like, I feel like an idiot. Like, that's fine. You're gonna get better. Like you got to start somewhere. You think I started that? It wasn't the same. It wasn't the same for me either. Like I didn't have a clue. You know what I mean? And it's with anything. It's like you don't just know something. You know what I mean? So like it's just the more you do it, the more you understand it, and the more you can be comfortable with whatever it is you're learning and understanding. You know, just be a man, bro. Get in the boxing gym.
Well, the growth and I think the self-discovery and the transformation all comes in the process, right? It doesn't come at the end of the process. And Jimmy Carr
actually worded that good.
He says that so well. He says it's not the pursuit of happiness. Happiness is found in the pursuit.
Yep,
right?
100%.
And I think that is our biggest flaw in our current society right now is there's a generation of men who look at guys like you and they want to be where you are on the 8th fight.
Yep.
They don't want to go through 7 fights of losing.
No.
They want to go through that 8th fight and they want to stand there and they want to be a champion and they want everyone to give them the accolades, but they do not want the process. And what they're missing is that I'm sure you do this too. I look back on my life and I don't think back to all the best moments. In fact, it's the toughest moments
100%.
that I think about the most and actually find the most comfort in, the most peace in, having overcome something. You don't overcome something in your life, you got nothing to look back on.
But where did you learn? Where did you grow or elevate? You know, mate, I've had my face punched in to a point where I'm like, man, I'm that tough. I've never had that done to me, but like, I'm good. Like, I'm a warrior, bro. Like, I earned them stripes. I earned them. You know. And like, you can't just buy that. You can't just purchase that. You know. And like you said, it's like realistically, I have a lot of great memories, great moments in my life, but the big educational lessons or growth of anything have always been bad times or things where they went wrong or negative things that have happened in my life to really make you sit and think, man, that really made me feel like that. Why? And then it's like you understand why, and then that will never happen again. I will never feel like that again because I'm not going to put myself in that situation because I learned from it. The losses, we're fighting or life in general, bro. You lost a job or you said something in the wrong way and then boom, you lost your job. I bet you're never going to say it like that again, though. It's a lesson, bro. Like anything bad that's happened to you in any way, shape or form that's like put like a stop on the brakes real quick, learn from it. Whatever it is, whatever it may be, there really are your biggest lessons.
Absolutely.
You don't learn from knocking someone out. Like, oh, wicked, I can knock someone out. Okay, great. I've knocked loads of people out. Like, they're not my lessons, bro. Like, that's just, that was a fun time just then. But when it didn't go that way, what did you learn?
Right.
Because that's when it is. It's not the loss. It's, what did you learn from that?
That's
how you going to work around? How are you going to overcome that? You know, I had to overcome, again, bad fights where I fought so bad. And then I'm like, I'm so disappointed that person done it to me or whatever. And it's like demoralizing, bro. Like, it's crushed me inside. But fuck me, I'm back and I'm smashing heads again.
Yeah.
I learned from it. I'm over it. Whatever, mate. And I learned a lot. I've learned a lot in some fights.
The losses, the failures is where growth happens. It's where you learn. There's a great saying. It says, in the gym is one of the only places where we actually embrace failure, right? Because we know that through failure comes growth. It's the only way you'll reach growth, right? But in every other part of our lives, we resist that. We run from the idea of failure because, no, we can't grow in failure. That's the only place you grow.
And people are scared of that.
Very
scared.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I say about people being soft. It's because, like, you don't want to push the limit. And really see what you as an individual are capable of. I've pushed the limits many times, and I know full well what I'm capable of. That's why I walk with my head super high, and I've got a solid head on my shoulders, man. You know, and I'm proud of the man I am and what I've become. Did I mess up and fuck up a lot in my life? Yes. Stuff that I wouldn't say I necessarily regret or like look back on, like, man, I really still wish I didn't, but it is what it is. I got to accept it for what it is. It's like, that's just how it is, man. You know, it really is.
I think when you reach that point, where you recognize that, it also makes failure in the future easier too.
100%.
Because it's still coming.
It's already happened.
never gonna
It
change.
happened, and I got over that. All right, cool. It happened again. All right, I remember I dealt with it last time. Let's see if I, do the same this time. It's not like it's just happened now. And whatever it is, bro, like there is so many things that happen outside of professional fighting. The amount of losses or hiccups or bullshit I've had to deal with outside of that, way worse than fighting. Like people think fighting's this, that, and the other. Like, bro, I've dealt with way worse than just that, And it's like how you do overcome it and work with it and understand why it made me feel like this. I don't ever want to feel like that again. So then it's like I'll never put myself in a situation to ever make me feel like that again.
Totally. What's next for you?
What is next? My management's going to be reaching out to bare-knuckle, BKFC specifically, trying to get another fight in this year.
Okay.
I'm still umming and ahhing whether I'm going to start 75 or drop down to 65. I think 65, I'll be a big boy. I'll be solid at 65, mate. My last couple cuts, my weight cuts have been super easy. Like my last weight cut, after my water load and everything, I had a pound and a half cut to get to 75. Oh, wow. But I've never had that in my career where it was like, piece of cake, 2 fights before that, I had a 14.5 pound cut on the morning of weighing in. Oh, wow. So it's like, I've been through the rough ends of it, and them times is when you really realize like how tough you are, mate, and you want to quit, bruv. Hard, mate, hard moments. I've had some crazy ones, but and again, it's all a mental battle as well. Physically you're feeling like trash, but like it's a mental whether you quit or keep going. And I've always never quit. I always keep going. So again, that's just consistency doing so. But what is next? So either the 65 or 75, get something in this year, maybe October, November. If I can get a couple in towards the end of the year, great. But we'll see. I'm on the mend. Obviously, I fought a few weeks back. Everything's pretty good. I'm back in the gym doing my thing. I had some quality time with my dad, quality time with my mum. Everyone's gone home now. Getting back into my schedule. Man, just back training. Want to get back on doing content as we was talking about earlier. I got a few guys I'm gonna do some content with. I got my game room set back up because I just moved. I've had a lot of things, a lot of moving parts. But I got a full PC set up, 2 monitors, and I want to get back streaming. And I know so many people I can collab with and streaming, playing like Fortnite and Call of Duty. Just stuff that makes me happy and I'm having fun doing it, Awesome. And if it helps, build the the engagement and stuff like that. And it's different content because people see me as fighting or in the gym. Okay, now there's like gun stuff, more knife stuff, self-defense stuff. There is some comedy stuff that I do try to throw in there because only people see this. And when they see conversations like this, they get to see a bit more of me. That's know what I mean? Because other than that, they don't really know me. No one really knows me. I've got a handful of people that know me for me, but you only know me through socials, so you're only going to hear what I say or talk about or how I explain certain things, So like even podcasts like this, it's awesome because then people will get into, dig into me and what I've got going on, So more content stuff and pressing to get a fight in the next, 2-3 months. Just stay chipping away one day at a time, mate, Can't think too far ahead.
That's right.
Yesterday was yesterday, and today's today.
Got to stay in that moment.
I'm very big as well. Just to throw out there is, really trying to be present, man. Really, really trying to be present. A lot of people get into situations that, straight away get the phone out. Like a lot of time, sometimes I leave my phone at home. I just go for walks around my neighborhood with nothing. That's just literally a pair of shorts, And like I just reflect on life and think about everything. It's like I've got no devices on me. I'm no one to, speak to or keep me distracted because you fall in doom scrolling is like the worst on socials, you know. So trying to be on my phone sometimes less to a certain degree. Obviously, I'm trying to talk about content, but have moments where no devices, no nothing, and like just reflect on life and what you got going on and what your next plays might be, and just be grinding, be in a moment. Like I'm super present right now, and this is cool. I'm in the studio talking with yourself, and I'm here. Right. And I'm very aware that I'm here. So I make that a point to really try to, always be in a moment. So
absolutely.
That's one that I always try to fry it to people, man. I even take my shoes off, walk outside, stand on the grass, I hug a tree. I do all that shit. I literally do, man. I go out, feed the squirrels. I'll walk around on the grass. Like I do believe a little bit like that. It's just mentally for me as well. It's like I think about the grounding aspect, and it's like I like it. You know what I mean?
Go outside and touch grass.
Literally, bruv.
Right.
Exactly.
Jake, great to have you on, man. Good
thank
luck
you so
to
much, Ben.
Can't wait to see what happens next.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you.